There are so many great characters in WandaVision, but 2 of them have a particularly bright future fast approaching in the MCU. And of course, I'm talking about Vision and Monica Rambeau. Sorry, Darcy and Jimmy Woo fans. I'm sure we'll see them again soon too, particularly after they were so well received in this show. But today we're going to talk about in this video, Monica and Vision. And check out my other video for what's next for Wanda and her twins and the multiverse, link down below. And even though Vision's name is in the title, we're going to start with Monica because her path is the clearest as she's headed for Secret Invasion as revealed by that end credit sequence. That was fantastic. I loved it being set in a movie theater. The feels, I miss you, the movies. It looked like a very nice movie theater. The outside was so decrepit. They did a great job keeping it in shape. I hope all abandoned movie theaters during the pandemic look that good when we go back in. Anyway, of course Monica's headed for Secret Invasion because she's a Captain Marvel character. Almost every character who's not who doesn't have their own movies is a sidekick character. Interestingly, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were never sidekick characters. They've always kind of been, he died immediately. Evan Peters. But anyway, that situation. And Aaron Taylor Johnson, I wish he'd come back for a cameo. It'll haunt us forever. But anyway, they weren't really sidekick characters, but for the most part, either you have your own set of movies or you're someone's sidekick. And even though she was introduced in a totally different project, different property, WandaVision, Monica Rambeau is a Captain Marvel sidekick. That could explain some of the animosity between them. And also, I think that Monica's not so happy about her mother dying. I think that she has a little bit of a bone to pick with Carol because she wasn't happy when Jimmy Woo brought her up. Remember? You're like, sorry, you're headed for her movies because that's where your character belongs. Now, at the end of WandaVision, Monica gets pulled aside for a clandestine meeting with a Skrull who says she's an old friend. She's representing an old friend of Monica's mother, who's Maria. It's so hard to remember Monica and Maria Rambeau in your head because this name sounds so familiar. But she says it's an old friend of your mother's up there. And of course, she's talking about Nick Fury, who we saw up there at the end of Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, I don't think that's a special Skrull. Now, of course, that's a special Skrull, and the fact that all Skrulls are special. We love each and every one of them. But I'm saying I don't think it's the Talos' daughter or anything like that. I just think it's one of the Skrulls working for Nick Fury. He's got a lot of them up there. Now, when we saw that headquarters in space, we thought that was Sword's space station from the comics because it was the station in space with aliens on it. But now that Sword on Earth has been corrupted as S.H.I.E.L.D. was, what is it with Earth organizations? Are we going to get a third organization? Is Fury like, Earth's corrupted, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to space and starting a group with aliens. Well, let's see, maybe it'll work for him. So what is Fury doing up there? Looks like we're going to find out in Captain Marvel 2, and Monica Rambeau is going to be a part of it because Kevin Feige said that's where we're going to see her next. And we're also going to see Kamala Khan there as well after her Disney Plus series, which is currently filming. So will Kamala Khan's story involve Skrulls? Probably in an end credit scene at the very least. Or I'm thinking also maybe Captain Marvel could show up and pull her in that way, but they're all heading for Secret Invasion. Now, we also know that Disney Plus has a Secret Invasion show coming up, further cementing that this storyline is fast approaching. And that's, interestingly, in the casting process right now, as is Captain Marvel 2. We'll see which comes first, because they're basically being made at the same time. But Captain Marvel 2 is already dated for November 11th, 2022. Well, Captain Marvel 2 set in motion, because I don't know if they're going to do Secret Invasion in a Captain Marvel movie, unless it ends up being a de facto Avengers movie. But how can it if Monica and Kamala are in it? I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think it's going to maybe be, my guess would be Captain Marvel 2 will set in motion the events that lead to the Disney Plus Secret Invasion show, which will then set up, that's a lot of setup, but will set up the next Avengers movie, which will be the proper Secret Invasion storyline from the comics. Because that's an Avengers level event, as Mysterio likes to say. Remember, as I discussed in the Wanda Twins and Multiverse video, Kevin Feige has admitted, and we have to remember this, that nothing important can ever happen in a Disney Plus show because he doesn't want to make them mandatory viewing for fans, because he doesn't want to hurt the movies. He doesn't want people to be like, I can't watch all of this, so I'm going to watch none of it. Kevin Feige is crafting an MCU where you can just watch the movies and be okay. So Secret Invasion isn't going to happen outright on that show. It's going to, again, probably lay the groundwork. And again, you'll be able to see the Secret Invasion movie story without ever seeing the Disney Plus series, which is a weird game plan. We'll see how this works out for Feige. Anyway, how will Monica's powers come in handy? They're going to really need to explain those clearly to audiences. Now, in the comics, she can transform herself and control and sometimes project any form of energy on the electromagnetic spectrum, which is why she sometimes goes by the codename Spectrum. She's also gone by Photon, which of course is her mother's old call sign. Well, Monica had it first in the comics, but they gave it to Maria to set it up for the MCU. But now in WandaVision, she's been able to see magic, which is new. So I'll be curious to see how they explain that. I guess technically it is an energy form, although I don't know. All right, so anyway, let's switch over now to White Vision. He has his memories back, but what about his emotions? And he doesn't have the Mind Stone. So what does that mean for Vision? It's interesting. I mean, he did get the real human-esque eyes. So I believe, as I said in my breakdown, that he's gotten a soul. But who's in there? It's interesting. I'd like to see him go on his own journey. Maybe he could go to the Ironheart or Armor Wars series. You know, more Disney Plus for you, Paul Bettany. Hey, it's work. Because those are going to be machine tech-based shows. Maybe he'll run into Tony Stark's AI down the line. That would be fantastic. And I really was intrigued by the line right before he disappeared in the Hex, where Paul Bettany's Vision said, "Who knows what I'll be the next time around," because he's had so many iterations already. I liked that, and I'm curious to see. They must have something snazzy in mind to put that in there. So I would love to explore his digital side, his ability to access the world's computer systems and information. He did a little bit of that in WandaVision. It was hinted at a little bit in Age of Ultron when he was still Jarvis. I think that would be great. It would tie into those Disney Plus shows, and it would be kind of what DC has been trying to do with Cyborg. So Marvel would beat them to something yet again. God damn it. Now, obviously, he will then ultimately reunite with Wanda because they had that beautiful exchange where, again, I repeat, it's beautiful. I love it so much. Where it is a beauty. Where Vision says, "Since we've said goodbye before," and Wanda responds, "We'll say hello again," which means they have to meet again. But will he once again bring her back from the brink of madness? We can't keep fridging Vision. We can't do it with female characters. We can't do it with male characters. He can't only exist to die and pull on Wanda's heartstrings. As some of you pointed out, how many times has she watched him die at this point? It's getting ridiculous. She probably doesn't even care that much anymore. She's like, "He'll be back, whatever. I could use a little break." I mean, she doesn't even wonder where White Vision is right now. Interestingly enough, she's like, "I'm not attracted to him in all way." All right, so she's like, "The red does something for me." She does like red. That's funny. All right, so anyway, I also don't want to see him always having to be the one who just talks her off the ledge. I don't think that's respectful to his character either. I like them as a couple. I love them as a couple. But I think it's important, as with all couplings, in real life too, that they exist separately as well as together. So yes, WandaVision gets 2 major MCU upcoming storylines kicked off: Secret Invasion and the Multiverse Saga. And again, you can check out my video all about the Multiverse Saga and Wanda and her twins right now.